Okay, I am going to test RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business today. This is a new camera setup that I hope is gonna work out, and I feel it looks better than the previous setup. But anyway, so what is RoboCop Rogue City? So this is like, obviously it has influences from the movies, but it's not based purely on the movie, right? And this is like it is a DLC, but this is a standalone, and that means that you don't have to own RoboCop Rogue City. You can just buy this game and it will be, you know, running and you can play it and anything like that. Also, you don't have to have played the first game or the main game. It's a little bit confusing, right, when you have standalone, what would you call it, like a standalone expansion pack or DLC. But yeah, so, you know, I don't remember exactly if this is gonna be you know, set before or after the main game. I think it is before. Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna check out the settings. You can use the timestamp if you just want to see the gameplay. Right, so you have a field of view, we have VSync. VSync, this does not seem to work with DLSS frame generation. You have the window, borderless and full screen. You have 16:9 resolutions. I do believe, yeah, you have ultra-wide resolution. I prefer FPS games in 16:9, but it is support, but I haven't tested if it is gonna be cropping or expanding to ultra-wide resolutions. You have support for the DLSS mode. DLAA, that's nice. Ultra quality, ooh yeah. Nvidia Reflex, obviously mostly recommend this to turn it on to get the best input latency. You have Nvidia frame generation or multi-frame generation if you have an Nvidia 5000 series graphics card. You also have support for FSR and Intel XES, and you have frame generation on every single one. This is top notch. I love to see this. We have options for everyone. Everyone should be able to get great, you know, upscaling, and also be able to utilize frame generation for, you know, smoother gameplay, because this is Unreal Engine 5 game, I believe, right? So this is going to be quite demanding. But as you can see here, my settings here, I'm running an RTX 5070 graphics card with the Ryzen 9600X CPU with 32 GB of system memory. I'm running everything here in 1440p epic settings. I turn off chromatic aberration and motion blur. This should not affect the performance really, so this is just more aesthetic. And then I have high quality lumen. So frame rate, you can see this is not showing up for me. This is because I'm actually running an FPS limiter of 120 frames per second. So the built-in only has 30, 60 and unlimited. This does not work well, because when I'm using DLSS frame generation, I want to use that frame generation to be up to my screen's refresh rate. I don't need to generate more images than my monitor can display. So for DLSS frame generation, at least I have to set it to 120 frames, and then the Nvidia will do its magic up to 120 frames. If I don't, so, and I have to edit the configurations file for this to work. It might work different if you're using FSR or XESS frame generation. Then it might be that if you use 60 FPS limiter, it might go up to 120. It has been that in some games, but at least for DLSS you needed to set the FPS limit to 120, and you have to do that through the configurations files, which is unfortunate. It's a you really need more fine adjustment to the frame rate limiter here. It's not the end of the world because you can tweak it again from the configurations file, but I wanted to point that one out. And then VSync does not seem to work with Nvidia's frame generation, unfortunately. At least not with the built-in, when I'm using the built-in frame rate limiter. Maybe it works with unlimited, I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to point this one out. This is kind of like an annoying thing. Because again, like if I turn off frame generation, I can get up to 160 frames per second. But that means that I'm generating, you know, another 20 images that I can't see, that might or might not impact the image quality in a negative way. So really, frame generation should only be used, you know, when you are within your monitor. Like if your monitor can display up to 240, then you can use frame generation up to 240. You shouldn't use frame generation to go above your monitor's capabilities, because then you're only going to be generating images for nothing, or you might see more generated images than real images, and it just, yeah, it's not good. Don't do that. Let me do this. Yeah, no, cancel. There we go. I don't want to apply any settings here. I want my frame rate limiter. Audio settings, everything cranked. I would like if master volume was starting at like 75% or something like that, but other than that, you have what seems to be good control. You have subtitles on off, voices. I like this reduce footstep or the footstep volume. So when you walk in, you don't get that super loud. Stream mode, this is good, but it also is meaning that this game is gonna have copyrighted music within it. So might be something to think about. At least it is what I'm, you know, assuming this means. I haven't, you know, played through the game and listened for copyrighted music, but I'm assuming this. Streamer mode could be, you know, other things also, who knows. Difficulty settings. Seems to be pretty good things that you can tweak here. Nice little things. I turn on camera shake reduction. I don't like a lot of bobbing, weaving, shaking and stuff like that, so great thing that we can at least minimize it a little bit. I am a little bit curious to turn on the HUD bar here, but we're gonna keep it at default for this quick look. Controls, I'm gonna be using my Steam controller here for FPS games. This is still the best of the best. Precise gyro, amazing trackpad or trackpads. I never learned to use the left trackpad for movement, but other than that. So we have mouse sensitivity. Running is a toggle or a hold button. Right. Sensitivity here. There's no like raw mouse input or something like that, or mouse smoothing on off settings. It felt good when I played a little bit with mouse and keyboard, so you know, I don't think there's any crazy smoothing or acceleration or stuff going on here. But yeah, and you can remap settings. This is all default keys. It's on the medium sized plus to high input setting here. Medium plus, yeah, medium plus for an FPS. Was pretty fairly easy to get it running here, mapped out to my Steam controller. Cancel. And let's see if we can show it off. Here you can see my Steam controller settings that I'm using with the gyro on with the right pad touch. X is for swapping firing mode. The H key is slow-mo ability. Healing on the A button. I have my skill menu on my B button. I move with the left joystick. On my left joystick here. On my left trackpad I have you know, options for night vision and for tweaking the weapons and opening the journal and stuff like that. I have my map. My map is set to my select button here. I have my left trigger here. It's a dual state trigger to be able to do aim down sight, and if I fully press I can fire immediately. Really nice. Changing weapon here on my left button, and holding it will activate one of the abilities. Melee on the right button, and holding it is another ability. Just quick firing on my right trigger. I have dash ability on my right back button. My left back button is toggle sprint, just a menu button. And again, if I click my right touchpad, it's gonna be use. If I double tap it, it's gonna be reload. So really easy to map my Steam controller. So let's get into playing the game, shall we? I'm gonna turn on my overlay. You know what? Let's go with this. There we go. So in the top left here, you can now see my performance metric. This is the Steam overlay. It is, you can see there that it says DLSS 122. That is the frame generation FPS, and my FPS meter says 60 to 61, 62. That is the frame rate that the game is rendering. So it is generating 60 frames, and DLSS is generating 60 frames, and the game is rendering 60 frames. And you can see the CPU utilization there. The overall is at 28%, and one core is like up to like 90% here. It's a pretty demanding game here, but again, even the 9600X is working well here. And we're gonna see how much the GPU utilization here is pretty heavy, like reaching nearly 90% in just the menu. A little bit excessive. And you can also see that my CPU here is running at up to 5.6 gigahertz here, and my GPUs has 12 gigs of VRAM, and currently being utilized is 7.8. It's a lot of, like, the game is fully rendering here in the menu, which is a little bit unnecessary. System memory wise, it's using already 12 gigs, so it's on the higher side. You probably need 16 gigabyte of system memory here to just get a good experience. But we're gonna do this. New campaign. Yes, there's no save slots, unfortunately. I'm gonna go with normal. I saw some review a little bit of it, and this is supposed to be a little bit more difficult than the main game, which is nice. The main game is overall on the easier side, so I think normal mode, with if they have upped the difficulty a little bit, should be really fun and really great. If you're good at FPS games, go for hard at least, because you want to have that experience most likely. If you play a lot of FPS games, you want a little bit of a challenge, you're good at FPS games, hard is probably more of a better options for you. If you're newer to FPS games, don't play a lot, normal is probably a good baseline difficulty. And if you're new to FPS games, this is probably a really great game to try new FPS games with the easy difficulty here, because this is a very accessible FPS game, I would say.
The zero waste movement has succeeded. It has been decided that garbage from an overflowing landfill in Yosemite Park would be burned. The energy generated would power an expanding industrial district in the area. The kind of economical solutions the city needs. Top story, Detroit. Will OCP use military units to fight crime? This scenario is more and more likely, especially after the break-ins at OCP warehouses. But not everywhere in the city is dangerous. Comfortable living units, new jobs, entertainment and relaxation zones. All this and more is waiting for the lucky residents of Old Detroit. the magnificent Omni Tower, a place created by OCP for you, and making space for Delta City. So, take the opportunity. After all, police can't be everywhere. Contact OCP today and... Sir, just getting a news report and... Breaking news. An attack on a Metro West precinct has occurred. The perpetrators and the number of victims are as of yet unknown. We will keep you updated. But one thing I can say for sure. I wouldn't want to be in the perpetrator's shoes when RoboCop finds them.
You can skip cutscenes by holding down like the space button, at least for keyboard and mouse. Which is really nice. Right. So there's been some kind of attack on a metro precinct here. This is our precinct. And now we're into it. Assault on Metro West. Right. So the first thing is that I remember when this came out, the graphic it's nothing like crazy, insane, good or anything but that. But the problem was that when this game first came out, the original game, it had a lot of shimmering and light, like kind of like causing flickering the roof and everything. And this is a huge step up. The image looks clean, it's crisp, it's clear, very nice. I do really enjoy it here. So, and again, you can see the performance, but it seems like I can get somewhere between 60 to 80 frames without upscaling on like epic setting and 1440p 60 frames per second on an RTX 5070 with an Ryzen 9600X. So that's pretty good. It's not super VRAM heavy this game, so that's also, you know, nice. 8 gigs of VRAM is perfectly fine here to run this game. But yeah, I prefer having the frame generation reaching 120 frames and being able to run at epic settings here. Getting the smoothness of 120 frames is really nice. Right, so you can go around, you can investigate the attack on the precinct here. I do like the atmosphere and vibe. Again, I do really like, you can definitely see that it's still, this fire here doesn't look crazy good or anything, but it still has a really nice vibe to it here. And again, the image is nice and clean. It's a very stable image. It was the opposite when the base game, RoboCop Rogue City, came out. It just was really bad. It was very blurry, it was very shimmering and lots of like weirdness with the shadows. The ray tracing was not stable looking, but here at least with the high quality lumen option, oh yeah, this looks, I like it. First impression is graphics is, you know, really nice. Not, you know, AAA baddest most good looking game, but it looks nice. I like the aesthetic. I like what the game is trying to do with the shadows and everything. Again, this is all settings cranked to the max. So we have 1440p all epic settings, but I am using the frame generation. Right, so I know where to go, so we're not gonna go in. You can scan like all of these for like, you know, bit of a lore hint. You can see there is something very mysterious going on here. I've already done that. It didn't seem like scanning everything gave me... I don't think scanning everything... You know what? Let's scan it. Let's just go around. We scan stuff. Why not? Maybe this gives me points. I don't know. It does. Okay, it does give me experience points. Okay, so I do want to scan everything. If I scan everything, that gives me experience points. So this game is definitely at least a start, and And also I would say the main game, it's pretty linear game. The only unfortunate thing here with the graphics so far is definitely that I do get a bit of screen tearing here. And that is again that frame generation. Activate the map. You have a map here, that's nice. Yeah, that is unfortunately that frame generation and VSync doesn't seem to play well together, unfortunately. Right, I'm gonna try to scan as much as possible because I do want to get... I do want to get my skill points. But if you played the first game, this is gonna be obviously very easy to understand. But again, you do get a tutorial here and everything, so if you haven't played the game, it's not that, you know, it's not that difficult to get into it. The biggest problem might be if you haven't played the base game, that you start with all of your abilities from the main game. So obviously, if you haven't played the main game, you don't know how the abilities works and stuff like that. But you should pretty easily get into it. Right, so scanning things get you points. Mysterious thieves have robbed multiple OCP warehouses. The corporation urges the going to recover the missing assets. Ooh, okay. Right. Again, it's a very nice, like, bit of a creepy vibe going on here. And again, if you're interested about the performance, you have that in the top left corner there. DLSS is the frame generated, the total FPS, and the FPS number is the frames being generated by the game itself here. And I'm using a frame rate limiter. The built-in frame rate limiter within Unreal Engine set to 120. So that's why you don't see the FPS going any higher. Damn, that was loud, okay. And I'm using my headphones because I want to get the full action. I might have to tweak the volumes. That was really loud. Right, so this might not be the most exciting thing to do, right? Going around and scanning. But if you want to, you know, maximize your skills, you know, scanning thing here gives you points, so you can upgrade a little bit of armor abilities and others. We're gonna see that in a bit here. So I feel that, all right. Yeah, there is Steam coming out. When I did my... Okay, let's turn around. When I turn around, bright eye. When I first did the test, there was no Steam coming out. So there is a lot of... seems to be a lot of things that need to be patched. Also, when I did just a test play this game, I was in action and my gun model and my second gun just disappeared. I could fire my basic weapon, but I couldn't see it, so I was just holding my hand and boom, 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 firing. It's ridiculous. This game needs a lot of patching, and I've seen a little bit of reviews, and they also just, yeah, hey, we need a shit ton of patching being done. Oh wait, which way am I supposed to go? This way. yeah, there's a lot of weird bugginess, unfortunately, physics bugs and stuff like that. So hopefully we will get some nice patch coming soon to this game, right, to fix a lot of it. So this is a slower game. Again, you know, you can see this is my sprinting speed. And you don't jump or do crazy stuff like that. So perfect game if you're new to FPS, or if you want a more casual, cool, just, you know, slower experience. There will be a lot of action, so. And again, I'm using my Steam controller here to play this game, the best FPS controller so far, in my personal opinion. Very precise gyro with badass right trackpad action.
They came for that.
You need medical assistance.
There were too many. And their weapons. So many good officers have...
We all know the weight of the badge. Let me take you outside.
Who on earth?
Those goddamn mercenaries. Sir, please lie down. We need to leave. No.
Go. Those mercenaries are my unfinished business.
Fine. But first we need to get things straight. First thing, this will be RoboCop's assignment, and Robo's alone. Lewis, you are off this case.
But Sarge...
If I'm going to the hospital, someone has to take care of this mess. Murphy, do you have a better candidate?
Lewis knows how to get people in line.
Well, if they're asking for it...
It's settled then. Now the second, and more important thing, we need to get these scumbags. Any ideas why anyone would steal Murphy's data chair from the holding cell?
I think I could shed some light on the situation.
Talk.
So, hypothetically, it's possible to make a machine that would take control of all the OCP devices. A sort of OCP hijacker.
How does it connect to the assault?
There was a break-in at OCP. Data and some components were stolen. With hardware from Robo's chair, they could create that sort of machine.
Right, so first off here, the animation for the voice is crap. It was crap in the first one, it's crap in this one. Maybe it helps if you just think of it as like being like one of those classic, what would you call it, like fighting movies from Asia, you know, that were dubbed in English. Maybe that will make it better.
Victims of the assault were not hypothetical.
I didn't mean it that way. But, like I've said, it's all just a theory. And not cheap. And you'd need access to a massive power source to run it.
Does that building you call Omni Tower possess such capabilities?
I believe it does.
Sarge, you have a suspicion?
One of the mercenaries dropped an access card to Omni Tower.
I am heading there.
That building is technically outside of police jurisdiction. But if OCP calls it insubordination, I'm happy to pay the consequences.
Once you're inside Omni Tower, find the information desk. It should contain data to determine if the mercenaries are onto something.
Godspeed, son. Just remember, we're cops. Don't make it a matter of revenge.
It will be a matter of justice.
Right, now we're gonna fight the good stuff. Right, we're gonna be thrown straight into the action if I remember correctly here from testing this out.
All squads, code red. RoboCop is here. Backup is needed in the main lobby.
Dear residents, an unauthorized individual has been detected. Please return to your living units. Any person staying outside the living unit after 15 seconds will be neutralized.
Surrender, or there will be trouble.
You're going down!
Trouble, then.
We got visual on 10. I need backup. Hold your ground.
Right, let me oh. Okay, that is loud. I think I'm gonna check options, audio, sound effects. Let's turn this one down. Nope. There we go. Damn, that gun is loud. All right, this should maybe, you know what, let's do, I'm trying to find a good quality option. Maybe 50%? Let's try that. I'm gonna crack. All right, let's try this one, 50%. It's a sound effects volume. Right, so if you haven't played the main game, obviously, you know, this might be a little bit tricky start. But shouldn't be too crazy, you know. You just need to play around with the... Just play around with the abilities you have to see how they work. Like you have your dash ability. You have, this is like an armor protection ability. You have a flash grenade ability, and you have a slow-mo ability. So just play around with them, and they will recharge. You can grab stuff, and you can also grab people and throw them around and stuff like that.
Engaging
So yeah, if you don't know the base game, it can definitely, you know, be a bit more challenging as a start.
Got eyes on Tango.
As a starting fighting battle, but I'm sure you get into it pretty quickly. I'm checking around here to see if I'm missing anything here. Again, this, compared to the first game, it's hard to tell, you know, exactly how, but just the smoothness and the crispness of the image is so much better than the first game were when it was released. Reflection here, even though they are a bit maybe low quality blur here, they are still so much better. This was like shimmering, moving around, looking really bad on the first release, on the first game. Now this is really, really great. Just, yeah, really nice. Just adds some extra oomph having this nice reflection when you walk around. And more realistically shadows. Right, we have a heal. You can see in my bottom left there that I'm used 3 out of 4 of my heals. And it's gonna tell you a little bit about your abilities. You can read about them also in your ability menu. Let me see here. You can read a little bit here what they do, right? I think it's this one. Right, all right. Let's just continue in here. Oh, that was loud still. I might need to turn it down to 40%. The sound effects volume. I think I need to turn them down. Turn down voices to 80. I want music getting more balanced. So this is more healing.
RoboCop's here. Barricade the doors.
Damn, yeah, the audio is not balanced well. It peaks really, really loud.
Hold your ground! Enemy sighted! I'm hit! I'm hit bad! I need backup. 2-1, moving forward! 4-1, push! Stay in cover! Take him out! He got me! I need backup! Flank the target! I'm hit! He got me!
So you have unlimited ammo for your main game, for your main gun, this one. And you can carry another weapon that you pick up and have limited ammo, obviously. Right, so this could be a little bit, you know, challenging if you're new to this game and everything, and new to FPS games. Just getting tossed into the action, but it's didn't take too long for you to get used to it.
Target acquired! I need backup! Man down! Man down! Contact! Contact! Don't expose yourself! I'm hit! Engaging! Move into position! Open fire! Down! One, 3-1. We need suppressive fire on that thing. He took my arm off!
Whoosh.
Suppressing fire! Move your ass to the left and flank him. Light him up.
You can see in the bottom right how my abilities recharge. You can also take this heavy machine gun. The one good thing here to keep an eye on is it has some little loading stutters here and there, but this overall has been really not a negative really impacting my gameplay. But in the top left, to the left of the CPU, you have this little graph, and that is, you know, the frame times. It should be like as smooth of a green line as possible. If you see a lot of dips that go into the red, then it's bad. It's going to be stutters that are very noticeable. But you can tell that it's pretty good so far. But this is the section that I have played. So some of the shaders can already have been pre-compiled here, because I've already played this once. The game also starts by compiling shaders.
Is he chasing us? Run and don't look back!
So this, if you pick up crime evidence, again, you will get points and stuff like that. But it's not going to be super necessary. You can pretty much finish the game without, you know, getting lots of skill points and stuff like that. Right. That's a nice little new melee thing. But you can see here in the top left there, to the left of the CPU, the graph now has spikes of red. That is stutters. That is not good. Also, if you notice here, this in the top left corner, the DLSS just says 12. So the Steam overlay has bugged out. It is 120, you know, FPS. Don't know why, but that is not the game. That is Steam overlay bugging out. It is rendering 120 frames. It is really smooth here for me, so I do really like the addition of these little extra melee thing there. Did we grab a shotgun? We gotta try it, right? You can see there was another stutter, the game load stuff. It's not a lot, and it doesn't bother me that much to like be a problem. But hey, it is stutters here and there, some loading stutters. But during the game's like fighting scenes, it has felt overall smooth here, so. Okay, I think I want to do this actually. Options, gameplay. Health bar visibility, weapons bar. There we go. Let's default. Objective markers, good preset. Okay, it doesn't seem like there is... Right. I wanted the HUD to always be visible, but I guess there's no way to do that. It would be nice if you had a HUD always on, but this it's not possible. All right. These will give you a little bit of upgraded thing. I'm gonna show you that. One of the really cool, it's almost a mini game within the game itself, is that you can press this one, and this is your main gun. You can upgrade it using these things in conjunction with this one. You can unlock. This will mean that your shots will pierce through armors. Your gun will reload faster. Will deal more damage, and here it will, you know, deal even more damage. And these are negative things that we are going to discuss a little bit here. I think it's good to showcase this because this can be confusing if you don't know what this is. But these are like special unlocks that you can get. Single shot, heavy damage. So these are power, right? You can see these are lined up, and you want to connect the power to these ones, then it will unlock. So if I want, let's say here you have weapon spread. If I want less of a weapon spread, I can take like one of these. Right, you can see that it connects here from the power, and now this. Now I have 15% less spread, and it connects to this one. That's really nice. I could also do, if I wanted to, this. This gives me now 15% armor piercing, but as you can see here, the red, I get a 5% penalty on pretty much everything. So I get 10% of armor piercing, but everything else is gonna go, everything's gonna go down with 5%. So this just gives me 10% armor piercing, and everything else is worse. So you can pretty much, you know, put in anything you want here. But if the red is connected, then it means that you will get a penalty. But if you don't connect one of these ports to the red, that means you will not get the negative. This one though, let me show what's gonna happen here just real quickly. Let's do this real quickly. Right, you can see this. When I get this powered up, this will automatically give me 10% of, you know, a penalty of everything is 10% down. But it will get me increased damage, and no critical hit. But everything is 10% down. But I could counter it with getting, you know, the weapon damage up. And you see this is numbers here. That means that, you know, now I have 11% less of weapon spread, for example. So it could be beneficial to go for these even if they have negatives. But for now, we are just going to do, you know, remove that. So first off, what I want to do is also this one. This is just stopping, right? This gives you the benefit, but nothing more. It's just a stopping point here. But you get the idea. You can play around with this. So I'm just going to try to finish this really quickly here. So I can get... Let's see. I could get that. That's 12%. And I can do that one we have. We can go with that one though. Can I get this one in any other place? No. This increased my magazine. So now I have a choice here. I could take this, the reload speed, and get this one instead. Then... yeah. But that means, so I can choose here between getting faster reload speed, or I can unlock this. I think we should unlock this, so we can showcase that one. Can I do anything else here? We have 12%. Don't think I can do anything better here. So let's go here. You can tweak this, you can reset this. There's also ship merging function. So what you do here is that you can take your ships and you can put them in. Let's save that for now. But you can put these ones in, and then if you merge, it will give you like a random better one. Here we go, 19%. Go back, oops. There we go. Now I have a 19% of this one, which is nice. I could check here on my little map here. Can I use this in any place to get more? I can. I could like do this. Now I have more damage. And you know, I could also do this. I have more damage. And I could also use this one instead of this one. So now we have more magazine capacity. Right. So merging is a really nice, useful feature, but don't overuse it, because you want to have a lot of this, because you're gonna get different boards, right? You see here, I have different boards, but for this test, we're not gonna change the boards. We're gonna stick with this, but you can mess around with different boards. I'm gonna do this when I play this game fully. And I also think that if we do this, right, you can see you can have individual boards that you swap between, because maybe you like this, you want to have a piercing bullets, and you know, full automatic mode means you can fire continuously. That might be something that you really, you know, want to have, right? So that means that you can just piercer mode. Right, so now we have a full automatic mode, we have a piercing mode. Obviously you can get more weapon damage, reload speed. Right, there's lots of this definitely very nice thing that you can do here. Lots of interesting little tweaking stuff, right? Like magazine capacity, armor piercing here. And it's again, it's like, this is like a game within a game. So there we go. Just to show you a little bit what you can do here. So now I have a fully automatic gun. You can actually make it that it is continuously firing without even reload, which is insane. So it all depends on what you like, and you can swap between the different modes. So in the other board I had a single shot mode, right, which is like dealing heavy damage if you want to do more of a sniping thing. But this might be, you know, what you might prefer. If you're not the greatest aim, you know, at aiming and stuff, you might want to go for the fully automatic. And I think you're probably going to be able to unlock more.
Engage the target! I need backup! Firearm!
you're probably gonna unlock even more fire like PCB boards, so you will get more options. But I really enjoyed this game so far. It has absolutely great feeling.
Good day, sir. How may I assist you?
Information regarding mercenaries occupying this building. I need it.
Excuse me, but I am not used to talking with an individual using such a tone, sir. Are you a resident or willing to accommodate?
OCP Crime Prevention Unit 001 conducting investigation. Give me the data I need.
A police officer with programming that allows for such behavior. Not to mention the fact that Omni Tower is outside police jurisdiction.
I will not ask again.
This data is classified. I suggest returning with the appropriate clearance and an updated manners database.
Excuse me, but I am acting on reasonable grounds.
Sir, let's discuss that in a civil, robotic manner. What is that supposed to mean? I am a high-ranking OCP operative.
For the past 6 months, mercenaries have been occupying 8 of the top floors, and all technical floors. On many occasions, they've been recorded using black vans to unload their items into cargo elevators in the basement.
Warning, you are busted.
Damn!
RoboCop? RoboCop, do you copy?
Oh.
Help! Please! Help!
RoboCop, you have to save those people.
Energy too low.
Okay, solutions. Electricity. Where to get enough power? Let's see. The red wire on your right. Hold on to it. Do it! I will route the power so you can recharge. Your status?
Electrified to teach bullies a lesson.
Alright. So if you don't know, the voice acting for RoboCop is the original voice actor of RoboCop, Peter Weller, right? Which is really awesome that he, you know, have done that. So we might play a little bit more here, but this is just really great. Like, there's not a lot of things to complain about here. The audio mix could be need tweaking. And, you know, there are a little bit of spikes here. You can see that again in the graph there. A little bit of spikes here and there with loading and stuff that could be optimized, but those aren't too bad. The biggest problem again was that I encountered some weird bug with my gun disappearing and I couldn't use my second gun. That is like the biggest thing that needs to be focused on. Performance is for Unreal Engine 5 game, for an Unreal Engine 5 game, pretty pretty good for Unreal Engine 5 game, you know, performance and everything like that.
It's that metal freak! I'm too hungover for this shit. I'm not scared, you know? You got him. Don't let him scare ya. You're done, Cub. I got him. He's just a machine. Shoot him in the...
That was weird, the audio clipping out there.
Sucker!
Up ahead, there is a security room. Reach it.
Who are you?
No time for that. You must override the console in that security room. If you want to stop the mercenaries, I can make a path for you.
You pretty much don't need to use other guns, but it's fun to use other guns. But this one is just so fun, just tweaking this one, trying different boards. Again, you can swap whenever you want to do that. You can just go in here and, you know, you can change the board. And, you know, you can go to a different one. You can tweak them, upgrade them and stuff like that. Right, so here you have the one that you don't even need to like reload, but you have to get... This makes your gun like a shotgun. So for this one to work, you would have to like get... I don't think I have what we need to do this, unfortunately, right? Because you would have to get it all the way up. Right, you would have to get... Okay, we have that one. Okay, we got that one. Maybe I can get the spread shot to show that one off. Reload speed. Weapon spread. What is this? This is... Oh, more visual gore. That would have been a nice one to have. There you go, more gore. And weapon spread reducing. Right. So you have 3 boards to start off with. Let's try the shotgun here. We just... You can see now I have an automatic shotgun. And I don't need to reload or anything. So let's see how this is gonna go. This is just so good. And this... This just shows you that a game doesn't have to have a ton of weapon to really be a good shooter. Just make the weapons you have really fun. You know, we just want fun weapons. We don't need a ton of weapons. was a little bit of stuttering there, unfortunate. It could be that there is new shaders being compiled here, because this is like, I'm coming into new areas that I haven't played before.
What do you expect? We hardly make ends meet. I got nothing.
You've got...
In that case, let's check if your organs are good enough to search. Where to start?
Yeah, human.
Kidney or heart?
Right, so this one is like timed encounters that you get the bonus bones and stuff like that for.
He really was about to kill me. Thanks so much, RoboCop.
Right, so I haven't showed you this one. So this is a skill menu, right? You will unlock like skill points and then you can upgrade these ones. Well, maybe I did show you, right? So that's when you pick up like stuff like this, when you rescue people. I did though see a reviewer, G-Man Lives, noting that the skill upgrades wasn't as powerful, unfortunately, in this game. It was more powerful in the base game. Right. Yeah, I think we are soon gonna be done with the Let's Try, but this feels really solid. And again, the graphic is so much better when the RoboCop Rogue City released first. Hopefully they have fixed it, because it doesn't look shimmery, it doesn't look like fuzzy and wobbly and weird looking. It's sharp, nice, clean. Performance seems to be improved. There's no crashing here so far. There was a lot of crashing in the main RoboCop Rogue City, at least not on my RTX 5070, running Windows 11 and the latest drivers to this date. This automatic shotgun, man. It's just, yeah, I love this little minigun with improving your weapon with unlimited amount of ammo. And then you have these little extra... I felt that stutters. You can see there is some stuttering here and there. That it's definitely nice if they can improve it, but it's not too insane. But it does need a little bit of fixing for the stuttering problem for sure. But I think when we get to the next a little bit further ahead, but soon here we will stop.
I'm fucking out of here.
Oh.
That walking tin can cannot get
A lot of stutters.
Security room. Override the console.
Tracking the location of police officers is illegal.
Arguing shouldn't be in your programming. Override the console.
The console does not work.
Okay. What have they done to the power? Maybe I can restore it through... Done. Override it.
First, say who you are.
My name doesn't matter, and you don't even have one. So, being on a first-name basis is out. Override the console.
You take me for a different kind of machine.
Yes, an obedient one. But let's work with that. You want a reason to cooperate with me, I'll give you two. First, without me, you won't reach the floors occupied by mercenaries. They took control of this building's security, and I am the only one who can guide you through it. Take the gate in front of you. The red light means that you can only open them by overriding consoles in security rooms, but only I can make them active. Secondly, the people behind those gates. I guess you'd prefer to help them before you go further. So, what do you say now?
Openness is key to cooperation.
Override the console.
Alright. Gate with red lights. You need to access a console in the security room. Alright. Bonk. The audio definitely is a bit weird how it clips in and out if you go just behind one of these little places. Gyro aiming is so fun. Definitely, if you haven't tried gyro aiming, I recommend you to do it. It's just a controller with gyro aiming is just amazingly fun, and I hope that we get the Steam controller version 2 soon with like a right trackpad, because the trackpad with the gyro just for FPS is, I find it the most fun, the most comfortable and enjoyable experience for FPS gaming for me. Okay, this is up. What the? This is the kind of weird glitching, right? You kind of feel. Is that an automatic gun? I don't think it's supposed to be automatic. Right, and you do have a map if you wanna check. You know, you have your main objectives. You can get secondary objectives and stuff like that. It is very linear, so I haven't really felt the need to use it. I'm just down here looking if I can. If there's any extra here. No, it doesn't seem to be any secret. Let's continue. I would have been nice if I could like get like a chapter exit. RoboCop Rogue City had like chapters. Right, I haven't showed you the normal melee button here. Alright, so here you can see that we have multiple ways to go. I can also see that this is a chest that like extra stuff that you can get to do these things. So we do want to like go this way. Oof. Right. Because now you got upgrade ships that you can use. Right. I think we are definitely about to stop real soon here, right? What is this? That's a locked door. Right, this looks like a locked lion's den. Oh, this is one of the ladies.
Oh my God, RoboCop!
No, okay.
You saved us.
No.
Lock yourselves in this area. The threat level remains high.
Right, so we saved one, and we got some upgrades. Right, the lady and the dude there. Okay, perfect. Hopefully this is gonna be saved. Right, so we're gonna stop here. Right, because you can see here that we have... You can zoom in and out of the map. I haven't... Using the scroll wheel, I haven't mapped that. But I can see I have two more like options here that I, you know, to investigate. Like this one seems to lead into a little bit of an area here. So hopefully this is gonna be automatic save. There's no manual save. There's no manual saving. So let's do this area, and then I'm gonna stop. So hopefully that's gonna be a nice save place, save point. This, and then I have just one more. You know. I can do the next one also. Maybe that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, many thanks. But bad for you, I'm the biggest RoboCop fan in all of Detroit, and I can tell you're a copycat. Although your costume looks kinda gnarly.
The level of threat in this area is high. I recommend locking yourself in here.
Hey, your voice acting's really good too. But if you really are RoboCop, prove it.
Stay out of trouble.
Everyone knows that. Let me ask you some questions that only Robo could answer. At which precincts of the Detroit Police Department has RoboCop been stationed?
In Metro West and Metro North.
Okay, okay. What is RoboCop's name?
Alex Murphy.
Sorry, wrong answer.
Okay.
Last but not least, what happened with Kane, the leader of the nuke cult?
I made him stop making trouble.
But that's not the whole truth, is it? I don't accept that answer. I knew you were a RoboCop imposter. You should be ashamed of yourself. We'll close the door behind you, since it's unsafe without the real RoboCop to protect us.
So I do know that in the first game,
Everything's fake nowadays.
if you answer the question in a different manner, it could unlock a different ending. I don't know how the impact of the different choices are in this game. Also, I haven't mentioned, but I have seen read on the forum and stuff, okay, that this game is around the 8 to 10 hours mark for a $30 euro or dollar game. I think that's fine. I don't mind. It's weird, it's just standing there. Oh. Yeah, and this needs to be patched. I think it's fine. I don't mind a game that is like 8 to 12 hours. That's a good length for a game. And it adds... It's easier to replay a game like that for me than a game that is like 30 hours. Right. Let's end with going to the final thing here. Right, don't seem like there's a lot of things that I'm missing right now. Right, I have one skill point. Right, I think I want this for better enhance the map, so that I can see more cool stuff to be like exploring. But yeah, let's go to the final little, maybe not the final, but let's go to this one. And then after this, if there's not a chapter end, I'm stopping anyway, but I'm loving this. This just feels so fun. You know, it's just fun. It's not exhausting, it's not super challenging, but it's fun. Really, really fun.
Thank God he came to our rescue.
Lock yourselves in here. The threat level remains high.
Will do.
Okay, so it's not the end of the chapter here, unfortunately, right? But I've done all of the main missions, or that was showcasing here. Would have been nice to just finish.
Completed the assignment. Good. To go upstairs, you must reach the staircase. I managed to open the gate leading to it. Go through.
All right. Okay. Okay, I've already done this, so. Right. Bit of stuttering here, not good. Ooh, lots of stutter.
I don't have any view on the area, so best be on your guard.
Lots of stuttering there, loading stutterings. Well, okay. This looks like it could be a save point or like a... Here we go. It looks like this could have been a chapter point here. Perfect. All right, yeah. Here we can stop then. Yeah. All right. That's fine. Let's do this. I could just keep going and going. This is just very, very fun. And that's a good, really, really good thing. Plays great with this controller and everything. So, all right, summarizing here. You don't need to play the first game. It's gonna help you. Maybe this, if you watch this are giving you a little bit of insight of the base mechanic of the game, and then you can go on your own journey. I'm gonna be streaming this on twitch.tv/Halkenstrong, but you might unfortunately be missing the playthrough if you're not following my Twitch channel. because I'm do the playthroughs on YouTube, and then I go and stream them on Twitch, and I do buffer videos to try to get 2 videos out per week. So yeah, but it's just super fun. That is like the takeaway here is just fun. If you only think like games like Doom Eternal is fun when it comes to FPS shooter or Turbo Overkill, which is amazing game, Turbo Overkill, this might not be for you. But if you just like a good, solid, fun FPS game, no matter if it is fast-paced or a little bit slower paced, this hits really just right. And I think the graphic here, it's obviously, it's not like the super crazy oomph up graphics, but they look good. It's solid, it's sharp, it's clean, it's you know, there is a little bit of stuttering unfortunately, but it's not game breaking. But I wish that they can fine-tune that in patches. But compared to how the RoboCop Rogue City released with crashing and just bad lumen implementation, this is just good. The graphic here is not distracting, it enhancing. It has, I think the textures here on the walls and stuff, and the shadows, the reflections, they look good. It doesn't anything, there's nothing bad that stands out. You can definitely say that the animation quality is rough, and you know, especially with the synchronization of voice acting to the animations, they are crap. But it doesn't destroy the experience of me. But it's not good at that, right? But you know, when I'm just going there shooting, fighting, it looks good. The smoke effects, the destruction, the textures, you know, the little bit of environmental things that you can pick up, it's really good. Audio, I like the oomph of you know, I'm using Sennheiser HD6XX here, and I think the pistols, the bass pistol is really good sounding, and most of the other one is nice. And I think the ambience of the music has been good, really fitting, especially the starting is almost like creepy, like sci-fi horror vibe, which is yes, really nice. Let's maybe do this. I don't need to watch the game now, we can do this. And yeah, so the only thing is that I feel that they could fine-tune the audio and you know, the audio there. I think it's what I have now with 50 on SFX, voices 80 and music at 100 is more of a balanced experience. There's still some weird ups and downs, but overall much better for my personal liking here. And the controls are really great. It is like a very mid-tier FPS game when it comes to inputs. You know, you don't have 10 weapons to swap, and you don't need 10 weapons to swap. And you know, you don't have jump, crouch, slide, and you don't need it. You know, you have your little abilities, very accessible. You don't have to use them if you don't like them. You know, you can just skip the ones you don't like. If you don't like the armor protecting, don't use it. Don't bind it. You can rebind it to something that you don't need. I think I went through the base game with using like maybe one to two abilities at most myself. But you know, it's a really good. Simple aiming, feels direct, precise, and nice. You have ADS, and you have, you know, normal firing mode, and you can swap firing mode on your main gun between like burst and single and stuff like that there. But yeah, it's the input feels really nice and simple, good, solid, and I like that you use ADS to scan the environment, right? Again, that's good input optimization. Instead of having a separate scanning button, you just use ADS, and it's great. It's one less button that you have to worry about, and it works perfectly fine. And you know, like, we need more stuff like that to think about how we can minimize and maximize the input experience, both for keyboard and for gamepads, to not just try to have so many unnecessary buttons. Like, yeah, like, I think that pretty much I wouldn't have minded if they actually made interact just like in Doom 2016 being melee. So if you're close to a button, your melee button is now interact button. That probably would have worked pretty fine also. But since this game isn't heavy on the inputs, I think it's good. It works fine with having them separate and stuff like that. But it's just, I love the feeling of the inputs here with the gameplay. They ties in good, solid, well together here, and it maps good to the controller here without having to use crazy mind tricks like in Doom Eternal to make it work. So yeah, the only negative so far has really been, again, there is some stutters that is good to be fixed, but not a lot. Yeah, some minor here and there so far. But we need to get fixed. Like I had my gun model disappearing, my second gun not working. You know, some of the characters just glitching a little bit, and I've seen in G-Man Lives his review, he had like just enemies just flying straight up into the roof and stuff like that. A little bit of that is mostly needed to be fixing. But yeah, I highly recommend this if you like FPS games and you don't need the FPS games to be like super hardcore, challenging, fast-paced, crazy. Then I don't recommend it. Otherwise, if you just want a good, solid, fun experience with a bit of easy accessibility, around the 8, maybe 12 hours mark, depending on how slow and good you are, and you know, think that 30 euros isn't a bad price point for you, then it's just, yeah, hell yeah, this is really solid. And if you haven't played the first game, maybe check out the first game also. I think this is a little bit more action, maybe even a bit less open. The first isn't really open, but it has some areas you can wander around a little bit and do a little bit of missions. This might have a little bit less of that. So yeah, but if you like this one, you might check out the first one. If you like the first one, you're probably gonna like this one. And if you're new to FPS games, or if you know someone that you might want to introduce to FPS games, this one on easy mode is gonna be really like good, because you can stand still and just aim slowly. You don't move fast, and it's a really great. You only have like one button to swap weapons. You only swap 2 weapons, and you know, you have these going around and doing like scanning stuff a little bit, and you have the kind of like with optimizing the gun, that is like a mini game within the game. I think it's a very good starter FPS. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, check back to the channel, follow if you don't want to miss me trying demos, games, and video games related stuff. And again, I highly recommend this. It's been a really solid experience. Perfect? No. Solid? Yes. I hope I don't experience any game-breaking glitches or bugs. Because if I don't, then this is gonna be super, super fun for me to play through here. Good, solid. I'm looking forward to the next like 7 to maybe 9 hours of just good, solid, action-packed gameplay. But yeah, have a great day, morning, evening, midday, whatever, and hope to see you in a future video, and bye for this time.